Last month, one engineer reportedly burned $1.3 million of AI tokens in 30 days, running loops. And he's fine. He works at a company that builds this stuff. You're not fine. Every video on your feed is telling you to run what he runs, and not one of them shows you the bill.
It did take a ton of input tokens. It ate up basically 5 million input tokens, but there wasn't that much to output, so it wasn't super expensive. I, in one workflow prompt, burned through half of my $200 a month subscription with just one prompt, and it took a little over 30 minutes.
That's a 97,000 view video, and to his credit, he's one of the only ones who says the number out loud. One prompt, 5 million tokens, half his monthly plan, gone. So here's what this video is. Last week, the team that builds Claude Code published their official definition of loops. 4 types. They stack like a ladder. Bottom rung, you're still driving. Top rung, it works while you sleep. So I went through every resource I could find on loops and pulled the receipts for each level, what it does, what it actually cost the people who ran it, and the cheap way to run it yourself. By the end, you'll know what level is worth your money, and the 4 files that get you started on the cheapest one, free, link below. And through it all, I want you to remember one important idea, and that is that the meter runs without you watching it. Let's go. Now take a look at this. This is Claude Code team's own post, June 30th. Their definition is one sentence. A loop is an agent repeating cycles of work until a stop condition is met. Now, their 4 types look like they're about triggers and timers. They're not. Look at their own summary table. What actually changes as you climb is what you hand over. Turn-based. That's every prompt you've ever sent. You hand off the check, the agent verifies its own work. Goal-based. You hand off the stop. It decides when it's done against a finish line you wrote. Time-based, you hand off the trigger. You don't even start the work anymore. Proactive, you hand off the prompt itself. The work finds the agent. The check, the stop, the trigger, the prompt. 4 handoffs. And here's what the hype keeps missing. Every handoff you climb multiplies what the loop can do and what it can spend. Keep that trade-off in your head because it will be very important. The term loop engineering comes from Adi Osman's essay. He wrote it after Boris Cherny, the creator of Claude Code, said the quiet part out loud, that he doesn't prompt Claude anymore and that his job is to write loops. So let's look at level 1, the free one. Level 1 is where you already live. You prompt, it works, you check, you prompt again, you are the loop. And because you're the one checking, this level is nearly free. The upgrade here isn't a command, it's a file. This is a verification skill, about 10 lines, and it says, never report a UI change as done just because the edit succeeded. Start the dev server, open the page, click the thing you built, check the console. If anything fails, fix it and start over. You write your checking behavior down once, and every future prompt gets shorter because the agent runs your checklist instead of handing you homework. And once you know the shape, you see it everywhere. That's a self-check loop. No schedulers, no autonomy, no bill. So what's the receipt for level 1? Pennies. But here's the catch. You're still the trigger and you're still the stop. And the next handoff, that's where the money starts. Level 2 is one /command called /goal. And mechanically, it's beautiful. 2 AI agents, a worker doing the job, and a small fast evaluator that checks the worker after every single turn, asking exactly one question. Ta-ta, is the finish line crossed? No, back to work. It can get bored. It can stop early. And that's the superpower and the trap. Because the evaluator can only verify what you gave it. It reads the transcript, not your intentions. Here's the field footage.
You can think of the second worker like the employee's boss. After every single step that the worker takes, the boss is jumping in. And trust me, I've already burned through a day's worth of tokens on one task, and I learned the hard way. You can't say, make no mistakes, or do a good job. Those are real examples that I've tried, and the boss just has no way to confirm them.
267,000 views, and buried in the middle, the honest part. He gave it goals like, and these are his words, make no mistakes, do a good job. The evaluator can't verify vibes, so the worker just kept working. He burned a full day of his token allowance on goals that could never come true. A software company ran a properly written goal, pass every test, and it worked. 39 minutes unattended, feature done. And the receipt? 200,000 tokens for one feature. Worth it for them? Yes. The test made done verifiable, so every token pushed towards a real finish line. Push it further, and one goal builds you an entire application overnight. Same math, bigger bill. So here's the rule, and it might be the most valuable thing in this video. A goal is a measurement, a threshold, and a cap. Score 90 or above, stop after 5 tries. A number, a line, a seatbelt. If your finish line has no number, you haven't written a goal. you've written a subscription. Let's just line up the receipts we've seen. One feature, properly verified, 200,000 tokens, one workflow prompt at full scale, 30 minutes, and half a $200 monthly plan. Always on loops at the frontier with an unlimited budget, reportedly $1.3 million. The pattern is not loops are expensive. The pattern is that the meter runs without you watching it. So here are 5 rules from the people who paid these bills. Some of this is Anthropic's own token guidance straight from the post. Rule 1, right size the model. The evaluator is a small model. Routine runs are a small model. The model choice is the biggest lever on the bill. Rule 2, every goal gets a cap, turns or minutes, always. Rule 3, pilot on 5 items before you point a loop at 500. Rule 4, determining steps become scripts, not reasoning. Reasoning is the expensive part. And rule 5, read/usage weekly. The command exists because people don't. So that's the defense. Now let me show you where the payoff lives. Some work isn't a task, it's a watch. A PR waiting on CI, reviews trickling in. Nothing about it needs you, except you're the one who keeps checking. That's /loop. Rerun a prompt on an interval while your session is open. And the canonical demo is not from a hardcore engineer.
At those instructions, and I'm going to say I want this to run, let's see, daily at 9 a.m. That's fine. Actually, let's have it daily at 10:15 a.m. because it's about to be 10:15. Okay, and then I am going to have it work in my chapter A branch on base is fine. And I'm going to create that automation. Now, there's a loop. And a couple things I want to call out about this loop. It happens every day at 10:15, so it happens on a schedule. I don't have to come in and say, what PRs do I need to review? And it's going to tell me the next time it's going to run. And then one thing that I want to call out is, you remember I said your agent can have agents? I called out here that if there are any PRs that need to be babysat, you can spin up a thread to babysit that PR until all merge checks are green. So not all the work has to happen in the one master thread. It can actually kick off sub-agents or other threads to watch the work. And so I'm going to go ahead and not wait the 4 minutes and run this now. Okay, so once it says kickoff, yes, it's going to prompt with that original prompt that I put in the routine or automation, but then it's going to be pretty autonomous and work itself.
That's a product leader. She built a daily loop that reviews aging pull requests, pings the team, and spins up its own sub-agents. Every morning, 10:15, she's not in the room. And the receipts on this level are surprisingly kind. A check that finds nothing costs almost nothing. The interval loop only spends real money when something actually changed. 2 things, straight from the field guides. /loop is session scoped. Close the laptop, it dies. And it fires only when the session is idle. One command, /schedule. Same prompt, running as a cloud routine. And the sharp builders give their loops memory outside the conversation. A state file, a board, GitHub issues, so every run knows what the last run did. And just like that, you've handed over the trigger. One level left. The one from the beginning. Level 4 isn't a new feature. The proactive loop is just the first 3 levels combined. The schedule comes from level 3, checking the feedback queue every hour. The goal comes from level 2, working until every report is handled and answered. And the verification scale comes from level 1, checking every fix end to end. Then 2 pieces of glue hold it together. A workflow that tries fixes in parallel with a judge agent picking them apart because the fixer never grades its own homework. And auto mode, so it doesn't wake you at 3 a.m. asking permission to run tests. Does it actually work outside a keynote?
Did our changelog and compared that to what's inside of the documentation repo. We can see Claude's actually found some changes here and gone ahead and opened a PR for me.
That's Anthropic's own workshop. The routine reads the RUU overnight and the PR is waiting with your coffee.
Blah, 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 blah. And so after it did that, that's how I was able to get the output that I was looking for. And I also was able to have all of those workers being on Haiku. Now, when I invoked that, what it did is it said, okay, can you let me run a dynamic workflow to do this? And I had to explicitly say, yes, run it. Or you could see here that I could also view the raw script. Because as we know, this is basically writing a script and then we just execute that script rather than having it be like all this, sort of dynamic back and forth. And then while this was running, you can do /workflows to actually view all of your open workflows if you wanted to stop them or view them. As you can see here, I could see all 41 of these agents running and looking at different skills. I could see that they were all on Haiku. I could see how many tokens they had used, what tools, and how long they had been running.
That's what full scale looks like. 41 scoring agents in parallel. And remember what that costs? Half a monthly plan, 1 prompt.
To why I said I want it to be fully autonomous. I don't want to read it myself, but I want to make sure it's good. Now, do I recommend you do that? No, I think we should read these things ourselves. But this whole project is kind of more of an experiment for me than anything else. But I am going to check it later. So, to each their own with that.
And this one matters most. 35 minutes unattended with visible rough edges. A draft lands in the wrong place. A reviewer agent catches unsourced claims and forces a rewrite. That's the honest texture of level 4 in 2026. It works. It's not magic. It's a system you own and tune. The check, the stop, the trigger, the prompt, all 4 handed off. You're not the prompter anymore. You're the person who reads the PRs and improves the system. That's the actual job Shirley was describing. So here's my verdict, level by level, receipts attached. Level 1, handing off the check, costs pennies, and you should be there by tonight. Level 2, handing off the stop is the best leverage per dollar in AI right now. If and only if your goal is a measurement, a threshold, and a cap. Level 4 is nearly free to idle and perfect for anything you keep checking manually. And level 4, it's real, it's spectacular, and it's where the biggest receipts live. Climb to it, don't start on it. Because remember, the meter runs without you watching it. Everything you need for levels 1 and 2 is in the loop pack. Free. Inside the new operators, link below. 4 files. The verification skill you saw on my screen, a goal condition library that's 12 copy finish lines that actually verify each with its cap already written. The PR-babysitter loop prompt and the full proactive routine template, cost guardings baked in. 10 minutes to your first loop. As always, I try to make the best videos for you guys. A lot of you are not subscribed yet. Please subscribe to support this channel so I can continue bringing you the best content possible. I have a lot of big projects coming up for you. Join my school link below. I'll see you soon. Bye.